All right, this is the podcast for Unit 3, Lesson 5. So this is over inequalities. So we first need to understand what the inequality signs are. So the less than sign looks like an L. I always remember less than L. And when we are graphing these on a number line, less than is going to have an open circle. If it is less than or equal to, it is an L with a line under it, less than or equal to. And when we graph it on a number line, it is going to have a filled in circle because it includes that number. Greater than, it is facing the other way. So the open area is showing it is greater than, and on the number line, it's going to be an open circle. Greater than or equal to, it is a open on the left with a line underneath, and then a closed circle because it includes that number. All right, so when we graph inequalities on a number line, what we need to do is first make sure that our variable is listed first. So you'll notice on number 1, 2, 3, 4, our variables are all listed first. So if our variables are not listed first, like on 5 and 6, we need to rearrange it so that it is. So what I mean by that, we want to, let's say it is 4 is greater than x. So I am going to flip the entire thing. And so I'm going to have x first, and then I'm going to flip this sign because you notice the smaller area is pointing towards the x, so I want to leave it that way. So I flip it and then put the 4 on the right-hand side. So x is less than 4. That's just easier when you do your number line. And you'll see here in a little bit because that number line, that inequality actually points in the direction that you are writing your arrow if you have the variable listed first. So x is greater than negative 8. So it is a greater than sign. So if we look up here, it is going to have an open circle. So we put that open circle on negative 8. Numbers that are greater than negative 8 go to the right on the number line. So you will graph it like that. Number 2, k is less than or equal to 5. Okay, so less than or equal to, we're going to first start with 5. Because it's equal to, it's filled in. So filled in circle at 5. And then less than, if we look at the number line, the numbers that are less than 5 go to the left. So you'll notice, like I had just said, that the direction that this points is the direction that we are shading or drawing our line. It'll be different down here unless you rearrange it like I just showed here. Okay, so I want you to go through and do 3, 4, 5, and 6 right now. So go ahead and pause the podcast. Okay, number 7. We are going to translate the inequality and then graph it. So a number is less than, so there's is generally meant equal to up until this point. So now when it says is less than, we actually have the less than sign. So a number, so we have the variable n, is less than, so the L sign, 4. And then I graph it. So I come over here, and it's not equal to, so my circle is going to be open. Numbers that are less than go to the left. A number is greater than or equal to negative 18. So is greater than or equal to. So we have to have that sign. So a number is greater than or equal to negative 18. So I put my closed circle at negative 18. Greater than, numbers that are greater than go to the right. All right, I want you to go ahead and pause the podcast and do 9, 10, and 11. Okay, solutions to inequalities. So state whether the number is a solution to the given inequality. So x is greater than -6. So semicolon 4. So that's telling us we're going to put 4 in for x. So is 4 greater than -6? Yes, it is when we look at the number line. Number 13, plug in 11. Is 11 less than 8? No, it is not. Okay, so this is pretty self-explanatory. You're plugging in the number after the semicolon in for x to tell me yes or no, it is a true statement. So go ahead, pause the podcast, and do 14, 15, 16, and 17. To solve inequalities, you follow the same steps as solving solutions. If you multiply or divide by a negative number, you must flip the inequality. Okay, if you divide or multiply by a negative number, you must flip the inequality. Okay, so do not forget that rule. Okay, number 18. 3x plus 1 is less than 10. So solve it just like you would solve a normal problem. So we're going to subtract 1. So I have 3x is less than 9. Divide by 3. When I divide by 3, I end up getting x is less than 3. So we graph it. Open at 3. Numbers that are less than go to the left. All right, number 20. Pretend like the inequality is an equal sign. So we would subtract 22 from both sides to get -2y is less than -4. Divide by -2. So here is where the rule comes in. If you multiply or divide by a negative number, you must flip. So I am dividing by a negative number across the inequality sign. So I had to flip my inequality. So it was less than, now it's greater than. So open circle at 2 and shade your line greater. All right, so I want you to finish the problems that you did not go over. So 19, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 26. So that concludes the podcast.